Hello my loves, I am delighted to introduce you to the haunted flower vase. We've got this lovely wallet with this black and white stripe here. I love a black and white stripe for Halloween. And inside our lovely wallet we've got this 3D pop-up flower vase. Let's have a look at this. By squeezing the outside, I'm going to just push that one backwards. By squeezing the outside of the vase, pushing up the little mechanism inside, we've got a lovely 3D flower vase. These pieces come out a little bit at the side to give you more fullness, and there it is, the haunted flower vase. All of these pieces are removable and they're all little tags that fit in their own little tuck spots inside the mechanism that keeps it all open. Every single one of them is removable there, and these two larger ones are obviously big old writing spaces, and they just slot down. I'm on a silly angle here for the video, so give me a moment. There we go. They just slot down in place, and these little pieces just go in to give you an extra little bit of width and dimension. So there you go. There is the haunted flower vase, looking absolutely great. All writing spaces on the back there. If you want to, you can glue all of these pieces in place so that your flower vase just opens and there are no writing spaces as such. It's just a beautiful elaborate card. Right, let's go ahead and see how we put this together, shall we? Right, my loves, I've got all my bits and bobs cut out. Let's go through them quickly. I'm on 250 grams throughout. This is the only page that I've not reverse printed. This lovely big page here, ignore my banding on my printer, I need to sort that out, but it doesn't affect my ability to make a nice video. I've reverse printed this with this lovely black and white ticking. Then I've got the actual vase itself. I have reverse printed this. And I've got these pieces here, which are the mechanism. I think everything's reverse printed from here. Yes, it is. Everything else is reverse printed with the aged paper backing. And then I've got all of these bits and bobs, all of the flowers and arrangements that are going to go in your vase. Let's make a start, shall we? Let's start with the envelope. I'll grab me scoring board. I've got 2 scores to make on each of these little curved pieces here, which are the front of our wallet or envelope. Bit tricky to see where that one is because of the ticking, but it is there and you can see it. I'm going to go up there. I've already folded the 3 little tabs for my little pocket at the top. Then I've got the same to do on this one here. So we'll take this and we'll take these and we'll fold these. Shall I use a folding bone? Have I got one handy? Yes, I have. Look at that. I like to do that on the cutting mat, so I'll do that. Use a folding bone, they said. It'll be better, they said. They've just gone completely off kilter. There we go. And the same with the other one. Do you know what? I much prefer doing it with my nails. There we go. Right, now we've got our pieces to form the envelope. Let's go ahead and do that. You've got one piece going on that side with the tabs on the back. And then the other piece is going to sit on top of that, like that. So you've got this. You've got this little overlap at the bottom here. So go ahead and glue that in place. Let's do that, shall we? I sometimes use a tape runner for this job. It's quite quick, but I'm gluing today. So glue on those tabs, glue on these tabs, there like that. And we can turn this over to do this, might be easiest. So just position it so it's all sitting nice and flush. And glue that down. There we are. Same on this side. Doesn't matter which one you do first. There we go. Turn that over, and there is our envelope done. Now we've got our little guy to put up at the top here. You can thumb cut that if you want to. I haven't done. Decide where you want that to go. Glue your tabs. And stick your pocket on. You just want to make sure, of course, that you're central and that you've got enough room for your card to go in without it sticking out over the top of your envelope. And straight is also nice. There we go. Right, I'll put that to one side to dry, and let's move on to the next bits and bobs. Let's look at the actual flower vase, shall we, and the mechanism for the flower vase. I'm going to score all of the lines that you can see running vertically across these two pieces. And you've got these two little tabs either end of this longer piece to do it as well. There, and then I'm going to, shall we fold or shall we glue? Let's glue. I'm going to glue one of my tabs, and I'm going to stick this other piece on the top. I'm going to let that dry now, and while that's drying we can get on with a couple of other little bits and bobs. So I'm going to fold the card in half, and that's my lovely little ghost card to go in the envelope here. In this little wallet that hasn't quite gone down to the bottom, but my glue's still got drying, so I'm not going to push that just yet. Now let's have a look at these pieces. We've got several pieces that are just as they are, they're going to stay like that, and we've got two pieces that need scoring, and we're going to score. You have got a mark on the bottom of the pieces, so you can line that up flush on your scoring board and score straight down the middle of that piece, and the same for this piece. And both pieces, I think, are going to fold that way. I could be wrong with that, but it doesn't matter, we can always change that when we get there. Just folding those in half. They're not actually in half, look, you can see there's a bit sticking out over the edge there, but this is central down here. So there we go, that's that. Oh, we've also got some scoring to do. We might as well do that now. Down the edges of this vase, and there is a faint line. I don't know if the video will pick it up, but it is there. And you're just going to score down that line. It is quite faint in parts because the ink is so dark. There we go. And these pieces are going to fold just a little bit towards us. Like that. Right, let's go back to this piece now. We're going to score this piece, and I've got to try and remember how to do this. So I'm going to score, I'm going to fold the first tab. Am I doing that right? It really doesn't matter. Actually, let's go all in. Let's fold it all in on itself. to start with. This piece we need to be careful with. There, that's where we've got the 2 layers where we've joined the piece. So just keep going in until you reach the end. And there we go. Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to fold it with the plainer side on the inside, so that our last little tab here on the end is sticking out over the edge. Now we might need to make some adjustments to this one so the whole thing lays flat. So just fold that over there like that, and then we can glue this piece. And that piece, let's encourage that to go tacky. This piece then folds over and sticks down there. Now we'll give that a minute to dry. And now that's had a minute to dry, I'm going to take it with we've got our 2 flaps. Where's the other one gone? Oh, it's here on the other end. So we've got our 2 flaps at the end here, and you can see we've got these 2 narrower sections in the middle. So I'm going to hold it kind of in the middle. I'm going to take this piece here and push it in on itself. And the same on the other side. Now you might find that yours is a bit squishy and it's not quite sitting flat. That's absolutely fine. Go ahead and reinforce that crease where it needs to be. So now you've got this kind of shape, and that is your mechanism. Now we can glue our vase together. Take one of your vases, turn it over. You're going to apply glue, not at the top there, but on the actual main body of the vase, up to your score lines. You want to apply some glue. I've just run a string of glue accidentally on the body of the thing. Look at that. There. And then you want to apply some glue or tape. Tape runner works quite well for this with the width of it. Apply some glue to one of those centre sections. And by eye, you're going to stick this. I'm going to need to stand up for this. You're going to stick that in the centre of your vase, right butted up against the top of the vase. And when you're happy that's in the right place, you can take a seam of glue down this middle section here. Pop your other piece of vase on the top. Again, I'm standing up and trying not to get in the way of the camera. Line those 2 pieces up. Squish it all down. Let it grab and dry. And whilst that's happening, we're going to take a scrap. Now it doesn't really matter the dimensions of this, and once you've made one of these you'll be able to kind of wing it. Mine is 1 3/4 inches wide, between 1.5 and 2 inches. It's absolutely fine, and the length isn't really important. It needs to be over about 2.5, or it needs to be over 2.5 inches, I'd say. The length really doesn't matter that much at this point. So to begin with, we're going to fold over a good 1/2 inch on the narrow side here, and then I'm going to wrap this around itself a couple of times. So I'm going to go into thirds with mine, like this, and then I'm going to grab a pair of scissors, open it out, and cut off these 2 squares here at the ends, leaving me one little tab in the middle. And now I can glue this whole thing together. A little bit of glue on there. I can't get hold of this wibbly thing. There we go. And glue on there. stick that down and let that grab and dry. If you want to let yours dry before you cut it, that would be a very sensible thing to do. I am not very sensible. Right, so we can have a look at this now. When we come to push the edges of our vase together, we get this kind of thing going on in the middle. And this piece here is going to act as our closure. So we can either measure with a ruler, or we can just mark it off with a pencil. I'm going to measure. I'm going to open my vase, see how long see how wide I think I need it to be. And I'm looking at about 2.5 inches. So I'm going to go a little bit bigger than I think I need at 2.5 inches. So I'm going to mark this off. Ignoring the tab. I'm just going to put a little mark at 2.5 inches. And then I'm going to cut ever so a very, very shallow curve. There, very shallow. And now I can push this mechanism in and see if it's the right size for me. It's probably going to be too wide. Look at that, way too wide to go in there. So let's take it down a little bit. So I'm probably going down to 2, let's have a look, shall we? Just over 2 inches. And I can pop this mechanism in here now to see if that's the right width for me. I'll check how that's looking. That's still looking a little bit too big, isn't it? It looks like it's sticking too far out. I don't put this piece as an actual piece in the kit because you might like to vary yours a little. Actually, that's looking pretty good. I like that. We're going to stick with that. You may prefer to have a shallower, less 3D vase, because obviously the deeper you take that, the shallower your vase looks from the front. So I'm leaving that up to you. And once you've got that there, I'm going to use a tape runner for this bit, just so I've got absolute instant grab. I'm going to take my plain side and I'm going to put a bit of tape on there, maybe. There we go. Fold this back out of the way. Pop in my mechanism, butting it right up against that mechanism inside and central. Can you see how I've got that going on there? Budge that around a little bit till it's perfectly central, and then I can stick my tab in place. And there is my mechanism. Look at that. Mine's quite rounded, mine's quite deep. Yours can be a bit shallower if you want it to. And then to close, we're just going to push that mechanism down, and there we have it. We can now stuff our vase with our pieces. Let's have a look at that, shall we? The piece at the back, there we go, the piece at the back is going to fold towards itself. And that is going in this little back section here. It is going in that back section there. There we go. Our front piece is obviously going to go in our front section like this. It can go backwards, actually. It can go backwards like that. And your back piece can fold forwards. There's several ways of doing this. So you could pop that in your pocket like that. Really just depends how you want this piece to look. There's several ways to go about it. Now you've got two long pieces, which are these beautiful black lilies. And you've got these little tuck spots down the side here at the back. I hope you can see that on the video. It's a bit difficult. There's a lot going on now, isn't there? A lot of angles. And this other piece will go down the other side. So that gives you the fullness at the back. And then you've got these little pieces that will go in the side. These are quite nice to just add a little bit more width. And they'll go in there. If you want them, you know, you can have a fiddle about, do what you like. You've got two pieces with these eyeballs on that can come at the front here. You've got this witch's hat, which I really like. I'm definitely putting that in there. That looks really, really good. And then you've got one more piece that you can use or not. Totally up to you. And that is the flower vase. This piece at the back, like I say, we'll take all those out and we can put that going backwards. Pop our little pieces back in these little pockets again. Sorry about the video angles for you guys. And that's what that looks like with this folded backwards rather than forwards. But like I say, take yours, have a play about with it. These pieces will go in all sorts of ways. You can, if you want to, glue these pieces in place so that the flower vase is one solid thing and you don't have removable pieces. But I think it's nice to have the option. Come on, get in there. It's nice to have the option so that you can, come on, I'll get it in there in a minute. You can do what you like. I actually prefer this back piece tilted forwards like that. So there we are, guys. That is it. Now to squash it down, obviously, you put your finger up inside. Yeah, that's open now. Put your finger up inside, pull the mechanism down, and there you go. Now to get it in the envelope, you may find, depending on how you've arranged yourself here, if you've gone on some wide angles, you may find that you just need to tuck those in just a little bit to get them in the envelope. Let's pop our card in first. There we go. Pop our vase of flowers in there, and there we go. That is your haunted flower vase complete. I hope you love it, my loves. I hope you gift it. I hope it's really well received. Have a lot of fun, and I will see you next time.